Hey, Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushua, Basham, Kwakodash. This is Brother Nasha DC Camp with another short lesson to edify the hopeful elect and double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of great mystery and rule well. So as you can see the title on the screen, it tells you that that the so-called you know uh, food stamp debit cards not working in at least 17 states. This was like something that happened. I don't know how long it's been out, but hey, it's just a sign of things to come, and it's one of those things. The elders and apostles been warning people about that. Once the grid goes down, man, folks will not be able to have access to all these groceries they've been used to. There's the so-called agenda to go shopping for their children and families. It's gonna be difficult, man. It's gonna be tough because the famine is coming. It's just another tool of control, man. You get the people comfortable, and then just pull the plug out of uh, out of the socket. Pull the rug underneath their feet, and that's what Esau society is about. It's about making the rich richer and the poor poorer, and holding people hostage. To unnecessary policies. So that's how the elites are able to maintain their power by having all these social experiments. War on cash, war on poverty, war on drugs. It's everything is about, the war on this, the war on that, and the reverse happens. So that's what Esau society is based on. It's based on divide and conquer. So you can see it's a so-called produce market, and the date is from what? The pictures from 2010. All right, so it says, I'll read the article. It says people in several other states, all right, I heard about 17, according to this article, found themselves unable to use their food stamp debit cards on Saturday after a routine check by vendor Xerox Corp resulted in a system failure. All right, so that's what happens, man. All these benefits people receive from the government, they're temporary. At any point in time, they can be denied access. It could be done intentionally to see how the people react. It could be due to system failure. But nothing is by mistake in Jesus' kingdom, and it happens for a reason. All right. So even Trump talks about cutting, cutting all this public assistance. But here he still wants to go to war with Iran. Want to go to war with Venezuela. Always ramping up the pressure. The beating up the drums of war. But here, folks could barely make ends meet. All right. So it says Xerox spokeswoman Karen Arena confirmed via email Saturday afternoon that some electronic benefits transfer systems are experiencing temporary connectivity issues. All right. She said technical staff is addressing the issue and expect the system to be restored soon. It says USDA, that's United States Department of Agriculture spokeswoman Courtney Rowe underscored that the outage is not related to the government shutdown. But when the government shut down, what are these folks gonna do? You know, the government have to go into a different mode. People have to take that RFID chip if they want to feed their children. Once they've lost hope, but only the elect will fight, fight in righteousness, man, to avoid, taking that RFID chip, the mark of the beast. All right, so it says Xerox runs EBT card systems for 17 states, and all were affected by the outage. So that's a lucrative contract for Xerox, man. You know, any company that's able to have a deal with the government, you could tell they're getting paid. At the same time, all these corporations, they always have a motive in, you know, perpetrating the downfall of people. All these wars, man, all these corporations, they always have a hand in making a profit. People got to sell computers, people got to sell cable, people got to sell portable toilets. People got to sell, companies got to sell tissue paper. People got to supply food, frozen food. People got to supply frozen food and all that stuff. People got to supply toiletries. People got to supply water, clean drinking water. So it's a war, it's a racket, it's a business. It's a war for spoils. It's not a war to lift the oppressed out of captivity, out of oppression. It's just for the rich, for the elites to maintain power. So this is what happens, man. When you depend on an electronic system that could be easily be sabotaged. Just imagine if an EMP were to hit. You know, brothers that have ATMs, ATM access to their cash would not be able to. The banks would not be able to give people cash because all systems are down. They can't tell you how much you have in your account unless they have a printout. How are they going to know when the EMP is going to strike? When the system is going to go down? They can't reboot the system because there is no power coming through. Even when there's power coming through, the system, the circuit boards are already fried. They can't make no phone calls on their cell phone. So that's it, man. So that's one thing folks got to understand, man. They can't depend on a system. All right. So I got a quick precept. So this is from the book of Sirach. That's Uber too, man. Uber is gonna go out of business too when all hell's break loose. Yep, Uber's gonna go out of business. So there's no big surprise about that. So this book of Sirach, chapter 11, because folks are getting comfortable, dealing with all these issues in society. They think, life is gonna be sweet. They're gonna have it good for the rest of their life, but they don't understand, man. All hell is coming. This is just like the calm before the storm. They could ask those people that lived in Jefferson City, Missouri. All right. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 25. It says, "In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity." So it happens, man. But for the elect, they're always on the edge, knowing that all hell is going to break loose very soon. And even the mindset among the folks that prep, they know that once the system collapses, they have to, buckle up and tighten up and get rid of all the bullshit they've been used to. They have to understand what it means to survive. But their survival is just not the survival that the men of the Lord are concerned with. The men of the Lord are concerned with the spiritual survival, to be delivered from all the chaos and pestilence that's coming upon this land. All right. So I get another precept here. It's another chapter. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 22. Then you go to verse 23. It says, "Be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, that thou mayest rejoice in his prosperity." So, this outage, man, is going to show the people's color, for a short term. But when the system really goes down, and then you see the implementation of the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast according to the scriptures, according to the book of Revelation, chapter 13, also in the book of Revelation, chapter 14. Hey, then you know what people are about, man. Whether they really, your family members, your so-called friend that you went to high school with, your so-called brother-in-law, sister-in-law, the bond is going to be tested. So it says, "Abide steadfast unto him in the time of his trouble, that thou mayest be heir with him in his heritage." So this scripture also goes along with those that assist the prophet. Whoever give a cup, give unto the prophet shall also receive the reward of a prophet, which is salvation. All right. So that's a beautiful thing there. And this is only for the nation of Israel, for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. They're the only ones that are promised salvation from the turmoil that's about to come upon the face of the earth. So it also says, for a mean for a mean estate is not always to be contemned. All right. So it's not all about who has the baddest mansion, who has the biggest, the biggest yacht, the biggest, the biggest apartment and all that stuff. That's irrelevant. It's about, having something that's good enough, food, shelter, clothing. They should be content. All right. Shouldn't worry about all the extra stuff in this society. All right. Nor the rich that is foolish to be had in admiration. All right. So folks shouldn't be content, shouldn't be worrying about, the rich folks when they got it real good and comfortable. That's their lot. And the scripture talks about, woe be unto them that have had their consolation in this life, that choose not to use it for the furtherance of the gospel, to, uphold the poor of our people in righteousness. So the Lord thereby Shema Shah said that riches shall be a curse unto them. All right. Then I get another precept here. This is from the book of Mark. Because the bond between the families will be tested when there's no food on the table. The wife will be nagging the husband, the baby will be crying, the woman will be stressed out, cussing out the husband. The man will be angry too, yelling and barking at the children, throwing stones. Yeah, so it's going to be a big test, man. Only the elect that have faith in the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, will be willing to accept that challenge, you know, because we've been homeless at some point in time, sleeping on people's couches, catching the metro, catching the bus, being late for interviews, being late for appointments, and then the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai makes a way, because among the brotherhood, that do the will of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, we don't make fun of brothers' adversities, man. We don't throw brothers under the bus. All right. So this is the book of Mark, chapter 13. I read from verse 12. I read verse 12. It says, "Now the brother shall betray the brother to death." And that's the time we're coming into, man. All these false brethren shall be revealed in those last days. And the father, the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. When a child is hungry, he'll do whatever he can, man, or whatever she can to put away that hunger. People will sell their children just to feed themselves. So that lets you know how shallow the family values are in this world. And that's one thing the Lord Yabashima Shai is talking about in the scriptures. That the relationship between family members and the neighborhood is going to be tested. And that's one thing the Lord also talked about in the book of Corinthians, that every man's work shall be revealed by fire. You know, so that's something you need to take into consideration, man. Yeah. So I can just be careful, man. In these last days, man. Don't get comfortable. All right. So at any point in time, man, the Lord can put you in a difficult situation, and you have to abide by His word. You will not have access to a clean drinking water, but you just have to have faith that whatever the Lord directs you to do is what you would do. All right. So this is the book of Job, chapter 5, and then you read verse 20. Actually, start from verse 19. So it says, "He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee." So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Folks think this EBT shutdown is just going to be affecting, 2 thirds and the healing. No, it's going to affect family members of the man of the Lord. because not all the men of the Lord have it made up like that. They're making good money. You got family members that are on public assistance. You got neighbors next door that might be knocking on your door while you're asleep, while you're about to go to work. They're asking you if you have anything to spare for their child that's about, about to be crying and yelling, disturbing the whole building, preventing people from going to sleep. All right. So it says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. And that's exactly what we're looking forward to, man. Because all these saber rattling and all these so-called beating the drums of war to go against Iran that Trump and his cronies been talking about, is going to happen at some point in time in the future. But right now, it's just on the shelf. They're still planning, but it's not yet the moment, all right? But according to prophecy of the word of the Lord Yahweh Shai, it will take place, all right? So it says in verse 21, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction where it cometh. So the Hakim got to stand fast, stand faithful, because you're gonna get tried, man. You're gonna get tested. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. And one thing that happens, man, in America, I walk in an establishment, you see a lot of food that goes to waste, man. You see a lot of food that goes to waste. So if you walk in a restaurant, you walk in a grocery store, you know, things go to waste a lot in America, especially food. So just imagine, man, folks going to the store and then they can't buy stuff. They have to put it back because the EBT access is is down. Yeah, so all that food is gonna go to waste, man. So whatever they need to get today, they can't get it. They have to use cash. You know, they have to use a credit card. So when there's no credit card they can use, when there's no EBT card they can use, when they don't have enough cash on them, all that food's gonna go to waste if the store chooses not to give it up. you know. So that's one thing, that's gonna happen, man. A lot of waste that's gonna take place. And then when you look at John chapter 6, verse 27, our people are always about, how they can do to make themselves feel good. But the only thing that could make our people feel good in righteousness is the word of Yahweh Shai. All right. So this is John chapter 6, verse 26 and 27. Yahweh answered them and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. And that's what people were saying. Also, something similar, to Trump. That, please open back the government. Don't shut the government down. Please, Trump. Please, President Trump. They weren't calling upon the Lord Yahweh and Shah. They were concerned about their bills and accommodation and their so-called health and all that stuff. They weren't really calling upon the Lord Yahweh and Shah in sincerity and in truth. Their faith was tested, but they failed. All right. So verse 27 says, labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life. And that's what the men of the Lord have always been emphasizing and stressing all this time. We can't depend upon Esau's system for sustenance anymore, because its end is in sight. And we have to do what is best, according to righteousness, which is the word of Yahweh Shah, which we need to hold on to. And then he also says, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him had Yahweh the Father sealed. And that's the point right there. You can't depend on Esau's system for nourishment. Because you watch videos, you hear about Monsanto, this, Bayer, that, Cargill, this, You hear about all the pesticides and all the poisons in the water and the air, in the food and all that stuff. It just makes you angry, and then you say, oh, well, how angry do you want to be? You gotta be angry, but at the same time, you can't. You gotta be, you gotta be spiritual about it, man. You can't be over righteous, all right? Because everything you do, you have to let the Lord Abashima Shai guide you. You gotta understand that you're still in captivity, and you just have to, take it that as the Lord Abashima Shai guides you. You gotta understand that you're being tested, you're being tried. You're not gonna have everything, at your beck and call. So the best thing you could do is just have faith, and let go of all these irrelevant, irrelevant, irrelevant things that these people hold in high esteem. All right, so that's the point now, Cam. Just gotta pray that the Lord Yabashima shall get you out of here, man. Because this EBT situation, man, it gets a lot of people angry. People start acting all furious to break into people's cars, into people's homes, in the grocery store, they're stealing stuff just because they're hungry. It's hard, but at the end of the day, man, you gotta pray the Lord Yabashima shall get you out of here so you don't have to suffer, with the unrighteous. So I can, Kala Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Bashim Kakodash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of great mystery who rule well, and I can fight and hide in faith. So don't get upset, man. That this stuff is not taking place. It's not happening fast. You just gotta be patient in the spirit. You gotta learn to suffer. That's why we have these lessons, is to keep you at a steady pace. You can't be in a rush. All right, Shalom.